As soon as we will feel awakening and something took the form, we should be very cautious so there will be not a possibility to have an idea in our hearts that it is I, to me, for me, and it is mine. If we will consider awakening as something that we truly deserve as a return on our own effort, that means that our ego just come back and block the space of our higher selves. As we learn something new, we immediately give it a name. We're creating a form. Once that is done, that would now reside somewhere in our heads. And its true nature will be masked by our judgment of it, as good or bad. We will continue to nourish our thought and live inside of our subjective consciousness below the level of our thoughts. That is what the reality really is for a majority of us. That is what our ego is made of. We live in captivity of our ego. We will not become spiritually totally awakened until we will be able to stop this never-ending demand of our ego to label things and suffer if the circumstances of the life have forced prior labeling to change. First of all, we should recognize that we have the ego. And that has caused us some grief. After the recognition, we should start observing our ego and not simply participate in its vicious. Allowing judgmental labeling to take place, allowing our ego to divide and conquer our minds. As soon as we will be able to observe or even recognize of ego's working, we are opened up the internal space of higher self. By accepting true internal space to enter into us, we are disarming our minds, and our minds lose control over our objective spatial consciousness. Choose some sort of object that is around you right now. It could be pencil, paper, wall, or flower. Simply start exploring it. In other words, start looking at it like you never did before, with more attentions to details. During this time, we should be staying away from subjects within writing on it, books, bottles, labels, pictures that might that might awaken you of the associations of when is it, how's it get here, what did it cost, or who gave it to you. Anything that would remind you of the past. Try not to stay on subject that will awake your thoughts. Without tension, be calm. Be calm and at the same time alert and ready to receive. Pay all of your attention to the subject. In my case, it was the flowers on my porch. Try to notice any minor detail that you never paid much attention to before. If we will start noticing that during observation we start thinking about something else, simply recognize it and get back to your observation. Or change the subject of attention if the thought persisted. What we are looking for, not the thought that will be generated from observation, but the perception of observation itself. Can we try to read of the thoughts from the process of perception? Can we look at things so the voice in our heads would not give us constant commentaries and directing us how to label what is it that we are looking at? Can we observe without making a conclusion? Without comparison? Without trying to comprehend anything? In a couple of minutes after the beginning of your experience, slowly start scanning the whole room or area that you are currently in or at. As you're scanning, allow your mind to highlight every detail of what you see. Then start listening. Pay attention to all sound that's surrounding your experience. Listen to it the same way as you were looking at the surrounding subjects just few seconds ago. Listen. Some of the sounds can be sounds of nature, water, wind, or singing of the birds. Others could be somehow connected to the activities of humans. Some of the sounds can be nice for us to hear, some might be not, but we should not divide them between good and bad. We should let them be as they are, without any interpretation. And here is also necessary to have relaxed but alert state of our attention. When we are watching and listening this way, we may begin to feel very fine. And at the beginning, barely recognizable sense of total peace. Some of us will take it as quietness and stillness. Some of us may call it an appeasement. When part of our consciousness is not totally preoccupied by thinking processes. Part of it existing in the space out of the form reality of our being in its original state. That is the peace of the internal space. That is awakening. That's it.